This video is made with the sponsorship of Ecrotech New Zealand, one source for all your beekeeping requirements. Hello, Trev here from Trevs Bees on Facebook and YouTube. I've just bought myself a Gopro camera, so this is my first little exercise in trying to film myself as I'm doing it. So we've had a look through the beehives around the bee yard, and we're now going to go through the hives. So this is the polystyrene EPS hive. My first look in it for a couple of months since I last took the varroa strips out. So first operation, just quieten the bees down, give them a bit of a smoke, and take the top box off. You should always start from the bottom and work upwards. I'm also going to open the entrance up so they take the winter setting off, and I always crack the frames like I'm doing there just before I start lifting frames. Just makes life a bit easier, not trying to fight. So there's the entrance reducer gone. Set the hive back in its proper location. Carefully lifting slowly, lift the first frame out, and that's a lot of bees considering we're now haven't really got into spring yet, with the second week into August. Still quite cool. Although it's 14 degrees today, it's quite warm. The bees are happy. So you can see the brood there. Nice band of brood. In the gaps that where the brood hasn't emerged, it's all been relayed up by the queen. So this frame is looking pretty strong. Now pull that frame back towards me, and then that gives us room for the next frame to be lifted. About the same quantity of brood on this frame. Both sides about the same. These are a Carnolian cross bee, the queen in here, and quite dark bees. Still reasonable honey reserves up in the top right hand corner. The bees haven't cleaned out the bottom box yet from the winter, so I find that's quite refreshing. I'm not actually doing an AFB check at this stage. I'm just going through the hive just to make sure what the state of the pole is with it, how well it's doing. I'm very pleased with the way this is looking at present. Bit of burr comb on the top of that comb. I'll clean that off afterwards before I put the second box back on again. Pretty well all my hives are in this current configuration, with a full depth box on the bottom and a 3/4 depth honey box. That frame there will get replaced later in the season. And that frame, those last two frames are empty. So now carefully push all those frames across to the other side so I can put that first frame back in where it belongs. Now notice I put my finger down in the gap, and then with the hive tool centralise those frames. I give the bees a bit of a smoke to push them down and put the second box on top. Now go through the same procedure again, crack all the frames, loosen them off from the rebate. And at this stage we're now going to go through and check how much honey is left in these top frames. This is 3/4 frames, and look at that frame, it's absolutely chock-a-block. Still quite a few bees working on it. That frame's empty. Full frame, all still fully capped. That's got fresh nectar in it. Fully capped frame. Again, fully capped frame. Very pleased with the amount of food. That one's is an empty frame. So the bees have still got a little bit of room to work in this hive yet. I'm very pleased that there's no brood at all up in this second box. So the bees haven't moved up here yet like I would normally expect at this time of the year. So they've been dragging enough stores in to keep themselves down in the bottom box and not have to use any of their stores. They'll get rid of the frame holder and just centralise the frames again so that they're sitting nicely in the middle of the box, and put the hive back together again. So I put the give the queen my window hive mat a bit of a clean, get rid of all the dead stock, or most of them. I can put that back in place. Now we're working onto the second polystyrene hive. You can see that these bees are even darker than the other bees. The last hive, this one is very much a full Carnolian queen. So cracking all the frames again so I can move them. I gave the bees a reasonable smoke to push them down so it makes cracking the frame a bit easier. No stores on the outside part of that frame, but there's stores still on the inside half of the frame. No brood in that side. First queen cup there, you notice. Don't worry about those queen cups, they're just what I call play cups. This is my drone trapping frame. There's a few drone cells there. Queen hasn't laid very many, just starting on drone production. Now we're starting to get into the brood. So this frame is mostly empty except of food stores. A little bit there on the right hand side. Here's the queen. Notice she's very black with a white spot on it. So she's a 2016 queen. I'm getting about 5 frames of brood out of that hive and this one, which at this time of the year I find is pretty good. Means that they're building up quite nicely. There's a bit of honey stores at the right hand end of each of the frames. This is the furthest place away from the entrance, so the bees always seem to leave the back end of the hive. That frame is completely empty. Bees have got a bit of food left on that. I've cleaned the left hand side out, and that frame looks as though it's just about due for replacement, although still some good honey left on it. So we'll put this other frame back in, and you see me shaking the hive tool there. That's just not me with old age DTs. It's just shake the hive tool a bit. moves the bees out of the way, so when I go to put the hive tool in there, I don't crush the bees. Centralise the frames nicely. Second box is now on, and we go back through and check the honey stores. Again, we're finding the same, full frames of honey. While there's bees up here working, they're actually working on the honey. They're not actually working on any brood. There is no brood at all up in these top boxes. I'm very happy in the fact that there's probably at least 7, maybe 8 frames of honey up in this top box. A couple of dead bees on there, they got squashed. I just get rid of them, saves the bees having to remove them themselves. Put that frame back where it belongs, get rid of the frame holder, and then re-centralise. Put the lid back on again. I write on this little bit of plastic sheet which side is up, if I can read it, and that's the right way up, and that way all the propolis stays on the correct side. These polystyrene lids are quite light, so I use a set of brick on them or something. Stop them blowing off. Now this is a standard wooden Langstroth hive. That's my top feeder. The hive mat, and then this is the propolis mat. So a bit of smoke under there, quieten the bees down, let them know that we're here working. Bees are very quiet today, they're not concerned about me. Notice that these bees are further over to the other side of the hive, moving the hive forward into the fully open position. Frame holder in place, crack all the frames. The red painted bar is my drone trapping frame. I just have that painted so I can see where it is. When it's full of drone, I cut that whole piece out and throw it in a compost bin or feed it to the chooks. So not much activity out this side, still plenty of honey stores there. Just honey on there, all that empty space at the bottom, the bees are preparing that, getting ready for the queen to lay, starting to polish up the cells. I've got rid of, eaten all the honey out of it. More cells are being polished. Here's the queen. She's an Italian queen, again with a white dot, 2016 queen. So she was raised in about February, March of this year. There was brood on the last frame, fully capped brood on this side, on this frame. Again, in this hive we find there's 5-6 frames of brood. This thing's about due to double in size in the next 10 days. So there's a lot of bees around. So we're at frame number 8, number 9 here coming out now, and we've still got brood all the way out. So there's about 6 frames on here that are full of brood. She's doing very well. The Italians build faster, build earlier than Carniolans, and produce a lot more bees earlier on, but the Carnies will catch up quickly once the honey flow starts. So I'll shift these frames back to the other side, and I decide to put the drone trapping frame in one so the queen can get at it just a little bit easier, and then I'll centralise those frames, and then we'll put the top box back on again, and we'll go through that, check how much food is on. So I leave the hive mat on while I'm working, just so that keeps all the bees in there nice and quiet and keeps the wind off them. Give them a puff of smoke just to remind them that we're here working. Lift the first frame out carefully. I've started using a bit of honey up the top here on that frame, not much, bit more out of that one. Pretty much a full frame of honey. There's not much honey on that, just a band on the top, but it probably wasn't full at winter time, in the autumn when I'm wintering down. A couple of frames here that are a bit light, but they're fine. There's still about 6-7 frames of honey in here. That's full frame, very dark honey. So they're all looking pretty good, and there's heaps of food on there. That's going to keep them going for at least another month or more. Put the last frame back in, get rid of the... So these frames need a bit of clean up. They've got a bit of propolis on the shoulders, so this frame's a little bit tight. But next time I come in here and check, I will give all those shoulders a bit of a clean, collect all the propolis. Now I'll just give them a quick squeeze to centralise them, and then be looking at starting to put the hive back together again. So the propolis mat goes back on again. That's not far off being replaced because it's starting to get a bit full.